Are you looking for a multi-band, multi-function radio for your outdoor activities, RV, or even your urban prepper kit? The RADDY RF320 will likely be right up your alley. Hi, and welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews and how-tos on a variety of electronic gadgets that catch my eye. If you find this video helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. As we get started, I need to mention that the kind folks at RADDY.com provided this radio for the review. As always, the review is all my own opinions with no pre-approvals of any kind. The big difference between a couple of the other small multi-band radios I've reviewed and this RF320 is size. As you see, it's quite a bit bigger than its cousin, the RF75A. The RF320 weighs in at about 13 ounces. This size difference means that the buttons used to control the radio are bigger. There's 3 different ways you can tune the radio, including a large dial and knob combo that allows rapid movement within the bands, and a fairly large speaker for what I think is sound quality that's pretty nice for a small radio. Its receiver range includes the following bands: the VHF FM broadcast band with area selectable ranges, the medium wave band, also better known in the US as the AM broadcast band, the VHF band from 30 to 199.9 megahertz, where I've been able to tune in a local ham repeater, for example. Next is the shortwave band from 3.2 to 21.95 megahertz. This band is divided into several sections for easier tuning. The airband with AM reception from 118 to 138 megahertz, and last, the US NOAA weather band for 24-hour-a-day weather information. The radio also has 995 programmable memory channels with 199 channels for each of the listed bands, except, of course, the weather band. There are a couple of other features that I find very interesting. These include the ability to act as a Bluetooth speaker for your favorite phone playlist, the ability to accept a 256 gigabyte micro SD or TF card for onboard music or podcasts, 6 preset equalizer settings to customize the audio output, and like its cousin, the RF75A, it can be controlled from your phone via Bluetooth and the Radio C app. There's more, but let's jump into a video tour of the device and its operation. Here's the box that the radio comes in. It's a little bigger than some of the other small multi-band shortwave radios, but the radio is a little bigger. And so let's take a look at what's inside. Now, one of the first things that you'll see when you open the box is this nice little case. It's got some foam inserts here at the bottom, a little case with a net pockets right here for some of the accessories that come with your radio. And this will allow you to give it some protection if you've got it when you're out and about. The next thing we've got is a strap, and this strap will clip to mounting lugs on the top of the radio that we'll look at in just a minute, which will allow you to put it around your neck or over your shoulder if you were moving around a little bit, to give you some control and safety over the radio itself. Now, the manuals for the radio and the app are really pretty good. This is the user guide for the radio itself. The print's pretty large. It's easy to see. It shows you the various ranges of the various frequency bands, shows you how to set the FM and AM step for the United States. There are 4 choices here with this radio since it's sold all over the world. So if you're not getting the frequency steps you're expecting, that would be the section to take a look at. And some of the other things, such as using the Bluetooth, setting the time, as charging via the USB-C and so forth. All very well described in the manual. This is the app instruction manual for the Radio C app. If you've got the RF75A, also from RADDY and sold at Radioddity, you probably already have this app, but there are QR codes for both iOS and Android for you to download the app into your device, and then it describes how the app works. The app is pretty easy to use. The buttons correspond to the buttons on the radio, and it really makes it easy to control the radio using your phone as opposed to long and short presses and that kind of thing on the radio control panel, which we'll take a look at here in just a second. Now, there are a couple of accessories that come with the radio. First is a USB-C and USB-A charging cable. It's USB-C chargeable into a rechargeable lithium battery. This little teeny tiny screwdriver will unscrew the screw on the back to give you access to the battery. Here's some headphones. It's got a tip ring sleeve connector on this end, a couple of little extra earplug covers here for the earphones. And so that's pretty handy if you want some quiet listening where you're not disturbing anyone else. And then here for the shortwave bands is a long wire antenna. It's about 15 feet or so. It's got a nice little alligator clip. And so the way you use this is to basically collapse the extendable antenna on the radio and then clip this just to the end to allow this to be the antenna. You don't have to worry about resonance on a receive-only kind of radio, and using the wire antenna will give you much better reception than the telescoping antenna that comes on the radio itself. Well, speaking of the radio, let's take a look at that. So here's the radio, and you can see here, you move some of the buttons, it turns the light on, but we'll just kind of do a quick tour of the front. There's the display. This large area allows you to rapidly tune the radio across a broad range depending on whatever band that you have selected, which makes going through the bands much quicker than using the smaller tune buttons here or the smaller tune increment here on this side tuning. So it gives you 3 ways to tune the radio, which is pretty handy. The band button transfers around between the various bands that you have: shortwave, weather, air, AM and FM, and so forth. And then when you're in shortwave band, for example, you can press the sub button and move within the band with several hundred megahertz at a time. So it makes changing between the various shortwave broadcast bands much easier. Here on the front, we've got a number of control buttons. This is the mute button. A long press on this button will mute the radio. You can press it to enter Bluetooth mode to use the app. There's a button here to lock the keyboard, which can be handy. Up and down volume right here. Here we can up and down tune, and a long press up will give it scanning upwards, and a long press down will give it scanning downward. And then of course power, and you can enter the sleep mode with this button here. Up here we can turn on the flashlight. As you can see, we've got the flashlight on. We can turn it off. And then here on the top we've got some LED indicators that'll light up with signal strength. And then here are the 2 lugs that we can snap the shoulder strap onto. Now the other thing you're going to find here on this side is the charge port for the USB-C. And then you've got the slot for the TF or micro SD card. If you have a bunch of your own music and you want to use this as a independent just music player off of the music that's on your SD card. This is an aux-in input, and then this is the headphone input right here. On the back, we've got a cover over the back part of the speaker, which allows some of the deeper tones to come out and gives you some good sound from the radio. Here's the door that covers the battery, that rechargeable battery, and these batteries are readily available, and so you can have several with you if you don't want to go through the charging process, or if you're going to be away from a power source, you can just swap the batteries in and out. On this side is nothing more than the light that we just looked at, and nothing on the bottom except for some of the feet. So that's kind of a tour of the radio. Let's power this on and take a look at some of the controls on the radio itself. Okay, so here we've got it on. We see that we're in the FM mode, and signal strength is shown like 50. 100.7 is an FM station here in the Phoenix area. To tune, then we can press up and go up in 10 increments, or you can hold it and scan until it finds another radio. We got the volume up here. We'll turn it up just a little bit. Now my microphone doesn't pick up the volume very well. It sounds really pretty good, and I'm going to turn the volume off so I don't end up with a copyright problem here with YouTube. By pressing the band button, we can go. Now we're in the VHF band, and we can go up here. Now we're in the medium wave band, so that's basically AM. And again, so we've got an AM station there. I can increase the volume. You can see that the lights are flashing there with the signal strength, and it's a talk radio show. Again, I'm going to turn the volume down so we don't get into any problems there. Now we're in the shortwave, and the shortwave bands will go up here. Now we're in the air band, and so we can tune there and reach any of the AM. You can see it says air up here, and so I'm near some airports, and so I can occasionally get some airport traffic here from the tower or from approach control here on the air band here of this radio. So now here's the weather. So there's the weather. And another press to the band will take us back to FM. I mentioned this subband, so let's go into the shortwave band again. So here we're in shortwave at 13.3. If we hit subband, hit 13.8, and then now we've moved back to air. Air, we can skip around in increments so that it makes tuning a little bit quicker. We're going to go back to the weather. We can scroll to find the weather channel that's active in your area. And then here we'll see with the faster scrolling with the knob, I'm on 101.5. If I start turning, I'm at 102, 103, 104, 105. And so I can really tune quite quickly using this, or I can tune a little bit slower using the one here on the side. So they're both twist type tuning. And then of course I can use a long press here on the up or down button to scan down to where it receives a frequency. So that works out all pretty well. Now, let's take a minute and connect this to the Bluetooth on my phone and take a look at the app. Okay, so I've got the Radio C app connected to the radio, and you have to go into the Bluetooth and select the 320 selection on your Bluetooth. You can connect it as audio, in which case your phone becomes the player and this becomes the speaker. Or when you open the app, you can connect it as, I think was like BLE or BCE, which is the control version, and that's where we're in now with Radio C. And so you can see that my radio matches the display here on the app, and if I tune up, I can add volume. I can change the subband here, signal to noise ratio. I've got some other indicators up here at the top that are kind of handy, the volume display, and so forth. Now, if I want to change band, instead of pressing here, I can press here. And now I'm in the VHF band. Now I'm in AM. I turn the volume down there on that talk station. And of course, I could turn the volume up here on my app control. Again, changing the app. Now I'm in the shortwave band and go subband, and I can go up by larger increments, 77.35 megahertz, 9.9 megahertz, and then I can change the frequency in smaller increments using these arrow buttons right there. I can set my equalizer to one of 4, I think. So I've got pop, rock, jazz, classic, country, and normal. So it looks like there's 6 of them there. Here I can turn it off and on. And if I want to enter a frequency, let me change bands here. Here's my weather band. Here's my frequency. So I can go 102.5 1.5, enter. And then I've changed the frequency here to, if I had a FM station there, I could make that change, or I could change frequencies in the shortwave bands as well. So again, there's an AM station here, so we'll start by pressing enter. 550 kilohertz, and now I've changed, and you can see I've made the change over here. So the app makes it look pretty easy to control the radio, and you can record here. The SD card, you've got a settings button up there, and then you can go to Bluetooth music with the button over there. So it's really pretty handy to control. With the larger form factor of this radio versus some of the small ones like the RF75A, buttons are pretty easy to access, and these really big tuning choices here with the very fast scan here and the little bit slower scan on the side makes controlling the radio from the radio itself really quite easy as well. So that's a quick look at radio operations and the app. Hey, just a quick break to let you know that you can support the Gadget Talk channel by using Buy Me a Coffee. It's a crowdsourcing platform where viewers can make a one-time donation or become a member of the Gadget Talk community. Your support helps provide resources to purchase some of the items reviewed on the channel. I'll put a link in the description below the video. Now, back to our topic. With YouTube's excellent copyright protection systems, it's hard to do a review of a radio's audio quality. Let me try to add a couple of short clips to give you a sense of what you'll hear. Again, these will be very short and mostly talk. I'll use the included long wire clip-on antenna on the shortwave bands. Here's some sports talk on an AM station.
Jalen, you've obviously had a lot of success since coming here.
Here's the weather band.
84 at Yuma, 76 at Nogales, and 76 at Sierra Vista.
This is FM broadcast
with the Celtics because, again, he had every chance to say.
Here's a VHF ham repeater network going on.
Our 35th president, John F. Kennedy, born in 1917, and race driver and car owner, Al Unson.
Some religious programming on about 5.8 megahertz.
And you knew that you may see that you're not blind.
For May 29th, follow.
That's WWV at 15 megahertz. Here's a little music on 15.72 megahertz. One of the many things I like about the RF320 is its rechargeable 18650 battery. You can use a power bank or even a solar panel with USB outputs to charge the radio so it's always ready. You can also add a couple of fully charged 18650 batteries to your emergency kit and swap them out if you need to. The sound quality with its large speaker and EQ settings is pretty good for a radio of this size, and the radio just looks cool. As I mentioned earlier, there are a couple of use cases you'll want to consider. If you live in an area where winter storms or perhaps coastal hurricanes can cause power outages, a radio such as the RF320 is an obvious choice for your emergency comms kit. It's also a good choice for your RV or camping supply box. Its wide range of radio coverage plus NOAA weather bands would seem to make it a no-brainer for a campsite communications receiver. Join me over here for a review of the RF75A, and be sure to subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. I've got a coupon code to both RADDY and Radioddity in the description below. Thanks for watching.